Hello and welcome to the Times Higher Education World University Rankings 2014 to 15. I'm Rageh Omaar in University College London. Very shortly I'll be revealing the list of the top performing universities and the all-important World Top 10. The THE rankings are closely watched across the world and are used by governments and university leaders to help shape strategy and by academics to inform career decisions. But most importantly, they are used by talented and ambitious students and their families to help them make one of the most important decisions of their lives: who to trust with their university education. I'm joined by Phil Baty, editor of the World University Rankings. Phil, why is the Times Higher Education World Rankings so special, and what makes it so important and popular for students and their families?
Well, we've been producing a ranking now for more than a decade. This is the 11th annual edition. So we have had an incredibly long and detailed experience of understanding the best universities in the world. We've spent a lot of time working with the universities themselves, trying to define the characteristics that make a great world-class university. And we gather tens of thousands of data points from hundreds of universities around the world, and we pull them together into a ranking that really looks at the full range of a university's activities. So we're looking at knowledge transfer, we're looking at research prowess, we're looking at the international outlook of a university, but perhaps most importantly, we're really looking uniquely at the teaching environment, something that really matters to the student community.
Why is it so important to students and so popular for them?
Well, I think at the most basic level, students today are investing potentially tens of thousands of dollars in their education. So they need to know, they need the reassurance that they're going to a world-renowned university. Their degree certificate is almost a global passport for their future career success. But we also really focus in on the things that matter to students when we create the ranking. So we're looking at the total resources of a university. We're looking at things like the faculty-student ratio. We're looking at the international mix on the campus, and we're looking at the university's global reputation. So things that students and their families care passionately about before they make this decision.
And what about links to business and industry for an institution? How important is that in the rankings?
Yeah, we think we're the only ranking that actually looks at business links. It's an area we're looking to develop, but I think students need to know that universities have real-world links. You know, they can translate their laboratory work and their ideas from the classroom, from the laboratory, into the real world. And I think students and families want to know that universities are operating in an environment that puts them close to business, close to industry, close to employment.
Before we get on to revealing the list of the top 10 universities, let's get a sense of the star performers around the different parts of the world. South America's number one is the University of Sao Paulo, but it doesn't make the top 200.
That's right, USP is actually moving up. It has come very close to the prestigious top 200 list. It's in the 201 to 225 band. I think in Brazil there's a slight issue that the universities haven't internationalized as quickly as some of the competitor nations, some of the other advanced emerging economies. So there's a challenge there, but it's on the up, and it does have a very solid reputation for its teaching and research. So hopefully the signs are positive for USP.
And Africa's top university is the University of Cape Town in South Africa?
That's right, yeah. Cape Town has moved up again this year. It's in 124th place. I think its particular strength has been in its research impact. It has some real pockets of excellence, particularly in areas like astrophysics. They're doing incredible space research.
Amazing. And what about the picture in Oceania?
Well, it's a mixed picture. New Zealand hasn't done very well, but Australia has had a very, very solid year. The number one in Australia is the University of Melbourne. It's crept up one place into 33rd. And Melbourne is strong across the board, of course, but I think it has particular strengths in its international outlook. It has one of the highest scores for international outlook, and it's probably helped by the fact it has one of the world's most desirable cities as its location.
Part of the world I'm particularly interested in, having lived there for a while, the Middle East. What's the picture there?
It's mixed. I think a lot of Middle Eastern countries do have a lot more development to come. They're starting to invest in education very heavily, which is very exciting. If you include Turkey in the Middle East, the Middle Eastern Technical University in Ankara is actually doing very, very well. It's in 85th place. It rocketed up the rankings this year thanks to incredibly strong research impact.
One part of the world that seems to be improving a lot each year is Asia. Where does it come in the Times Higher Education ranking?
Well, Asia has been rising, particularly nations like Singapore and China. We're seeing success. This year, there's around 8 universities from Asia in or around the top 50. It's very exciting. We now have 2 top 25 Asian universities. National University of Singapore moved into 25th place this year, rising up again for a consecutive year. But it wasn't enough to displace the University of Tokyo, which is Asia's #1 university, which held on to 23rd place. They're both fantastic universities, but I think Tokyo still just edges it on its research reputation in particular, its longer heritage and history of excellence. But NUS Singapore is a real rising star and one to watch.
Phil, thank you very much for that very international picture, but the world's very best universities remain concentrated in Europe and particularly in the US, as we reveal the world's top 10 universities for 2014 to 15. There is no 10th place this year, as 2 institutions are tied in 9th. One of them is Yale University, which moves up to 9th from 11th last year, joining the world top 10 for the first time under Times Higher Education's current methodology. Joining Yale in joint 9th place is the UK's Imperial College London, up from 10th last year. In 8th place, holding its position from last year, is the University of California, Berkeley. A public university in San Francisco Bay, more than 20 of Berkeley's graduates have become Nobel laureates. In 7th, down 1 place from last year, is Princeton University. 11% of Princeton students are international. In 6th, slipping 1 place, is the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. MIT, also on the east coast of the US, obtained the highest possible score in the rankings for the impact of its research. In 5th place is the UK's University of Cambridge. Moving up 2 places from 7th, Cambridge is more than 8 centuries old, but is currently undergoing the greatest expansion in its history with a new science and technology campus. In 4th place is Stanford University. Stanford is based right in the heart of California's Silicon Valley, but it is just as renowned for its arts and social sciences as it is for its work in the technology sector. It has a $1.35 billion research budget. In 3rd place, it is the highest ranked university outside of the US, the UK's University of Oxford. Oxford is the oldest university in the English-speaking world and can trace its origins back to 1096. In 2nd place, a position it shared last year with Oxford but now claims as its own, is Harvard University. About 500 years younger than Oxford, it has a staggering endowment of $32.7 billion. And in 1st place, for the 4th year in a row, it's Caltech, the California Institute of Technology. Based in Pasadena near Los Angeles, Caltech is tiny. It has only around 300 professors, but its small size helps create an intimate environment for students. The student-faculty ratio is a remarkable 3-to-1. At just 123 years old, it boasts 32 Nobel laureates among its faculty and alumni, including 5 on the current staff. Congratulations to Caltech, Times Higher Education's world #1 university for 2014 to 15. The Times Higher Education World University Rankings website lists the world's top 400 universities overall and the world's top 100 universities in each of 6 specialist subject areas, offering detailed profiles of each institution featured. Explore the results in full and download the free iPhone app. Thank you very much for joining us for this year's Times Higher Education World University Rankings. And until next year, from all of us, goodbye.